Sit up straight. Kick your legs across the same way they're always crossed. Change the cross. Press your fingertips into the floor, lengthen your side waist and your side chest. Move your arm bones back to bring your shoulder blades into your back. Balance your weight evenly on your two sitting bones. And then keeping all that, release your hands to your thighs and close your eyes. Descend your thighs. From your pubis to your navel, lift up, and slightly in. And continue that lift through the front of your body. All the way through the top of your sternum. Your shoulder blades scooch forward, group them back. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. Come into downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread your palms. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips high. Even if your heels go all the way down to the floor, lift them up slightly. And with the heels slightly lifted, notice the weight on the ball of the foot, or high lifted, doesn't matter. Inner foot, outer foot, make even. And same with the hands, make sure there's equal pressure between the thumb side and little finger side. Now keeping everything from the hands, the hips, the same plane, you're going to lift your heels up. So lift your heels up slowly so you can lift the backs of the thighs higher and higher, but keep the chest moving towards the legs. So the heels lift up, the chest moves towards the legs. And then slowly start to lower your heels down any amount, but keep the chest moving towards your legs. And then another time, lift your heels up. Keep your chest moving towards your legs, lower your heels back down. Lift your heels. Lower your heels back down. It's another way of warming up the hamstrings without bending one leg and then the other, although I understand why people do that. Bring your upper arms out. Soften your neck and throat. But at the same time, keep your arms and legs working strongly. Good morning, Vidya. And then bend your knees, rest your hips down onto your heels. All right, come up to seated in Dandasana. Press your thighs down, spread your toes, lift your chest. All right, lift your arms up, stand up. Exhale, come forward, and some of you may be familiar with this physical fitness test where they put these lines on the floor and they see how far you can bring your fingers forward. So we're going to work on our hamstrings today, just for Bob. And so just have a first sit and reach test and see, where your hands reach in Paschimottanasana. Now you can pull, and that will help you get in, but it's how far you can take your fingers, these are fingers, ahead of your toes. All right, then come back up. Now you're gonna lie down on your mat and you need a strap or you need to be able to grab your foot. So I'm gonna show with my head facing toward you, but you wanna be with your feet at the wall if possible. We're gonna do Supta Padangusthasana series. So if you don't know that, I'll show it really quick. So the strap today will go on the ball of the foot. Supta Pada 1, then we'll take it out to the side. And then slightly across the whole time the leg is straight. And then we'll come into the twist. So that's what it looks like. And then I guess I'll turn this way so I can see. All right, so place both feet up the wall. Some time to get there. Press your heels into the wall. Or press your heels into the floor if there's not a wall nearby, so don't worry about it if there's not. And then keeping your left leg down, bend your right leg in. Either you can grab your big toe if it's nearby, or you can take the strap and place it on the ball of your foot. So as you bring the right leg toward you, press the left leg into the floor and into the wall. Press your right leg towards the ceiling. So even though your arms are pulling your leg toward your head, your leg is moving both towards the opposite leg, actually, towards the left foot, and also towards the ceiling. Keep your quadriceps engaged. That will help you in the long run Stretch your hamstring. Then hold on with your right hand. Press your left thigh down. Keep your hips level and take your right leg out to the right. So sometimes this is called Parshva Supta Padangusthasana. Sometimes it's called Supta Padangusthasana 2. And sometimes it's called Supta Padangusthasana 3, which is really confusing. Parshva is the one I prefer. It's the most descriptive. So, the first thing you need to do is remind yourself about your left leg. What's your left leg doing? Is it flopping around? So press your left leg down and into the wall. Then tuck your right hip under. That will turn your right toes a little bit towards the floor. Don't do it so much that your toes turn. That's a different pose. But it's that feeling, and that keeps your right leg from just flopping over. Then lift your right leg up. Switch hands. And now you're going to keep your left leg exactly where it is. Keep your right hip pretty much on the floor. Little bits of it might come up. And then take your leg across the body. Now this is not all the way across. This is sometimes this is referred to as an IT band stretch. And not everyone feels this. I don't feel this. But if you're just beginning to feel it, you want it a little more, take the outer right hip towards the left foot, and that will help you get a little more into the stretch. If you feel it a lot, don't worry about it. You are where you are. All right, now you're going to turn the left foot so the little toes come down, and then you're going to take the right foot over and come into the twist. So attempt to keep both shoulders on the ground. And then just like this other pose, Jatara Parvarottanasana, we're going to turn our abdomen from left to right. So you're going to keep your right leg and your left leg where they are, and see if you can just turn your abdomen and your rib cage away from the twist of the legs. I'll lift that leg back up. Bend your right leg, put it against the wall. See if it's now longer than your left leg. Or suddenly they're the same length. All right, so press your right thigh towards the floor and your right heel into the wall. Lift your left leg up. For Supta Padangusthasana, reclined hand to big toe pose, although we're not teaching this as a grip. As we're more working on the hamstrings today than the grip, although that can be done too. So take the press the right leg down and then take the outer left hip towards the right foot. But move the top of the thigh towards the ceiling. And I don't know if that really makes sense. So mostly I'm just saying engage your quadricep. Many of you probably already know this, but for those that teach, this series can take like if you have 15 minutes left in class and you don't know what to do, this is a good end of class 15 minutes.
Not that it's ever happened to me where I haven't planned properly or anything. Oh no, suddenly I have 15 minutes. Super Padangusthasana. Alright, now take both hands and Take both hands into the left hand. Take both sides of the strap into the left hand. Take your left leg over to the left. Press your right heel into the floor, into the wall. Suck the outer left hip in, so your leg isn't floppy. And here too, and I didn't mention on the first side, you can roll your abdomen away from the left leg. So this time it's rolling to the right. That will help you keep the right leg grounded. Rolling your abdomen helps you keep the right leg grounded. Then lift your left leg back up. Keep your right leg and most of your left buttocks where they are, and take the leg across the body. So it's just a little bit across for most people. Take the outer left hip towards the right foot. And then turn the right leg so the little toe side comes to the floor, and take the left leg across your leg. So now you're in the twist. As if you were doing Trikonasana on the floor. So the first thing to do is to get your shoulders on the floor. If your left shoulder came up as your left leg went over. Then turn your waist from the right to the left. Then lift your left leg back up, bend your knee, release it down. And then we're going to just repeat Supta Padangusthasana 1. So press both heels into the wall or floor, on both. Then lift your right leg out. Place the strap, if you have a strap, you can place it down the heel just to feel something different. It helps you ground the leg more. And now bring that right leg as close to your nose as it will go. Then, with the right leg close to the nose, or we're going to need a bigger nose, you're going to do a little sit-up. So you pull the leg towards you. With your exhalation, lift your head and see if you can bring your forehead towards your shin at all. And by doing this, you might bring your shin a little bit closer. So keep that and lower your chest back down. Now your head's on the floor again. All right, bend your right leg. Release it down. Take a breath. Lift your left leg up. Strap on the heel if you have a strap. If not, you're just doing whatever you can, grabbing the leg. Then with your exhalation, bring the left leg as close to your nose as possible. At the same time, pressing the right leg into the floor. Then you're going to do the little sit-up. So you're going to hold onto your strap, or your foot, or your leg.
And then lift yourself up, bringing the chin toward the shin, or the forehead toward the shin, or whatever works. And you probably are pulling on the leg to do that, so you don't have to use as much ab strength. So keep that and lower your chest back down. So your head's back on the floor. And then bend your left leg, and sit down. All right, roll over and do downward facing dog. So come to your hands and knees. Lift your hips high. Fix your hair. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Saying if anything changed. Push your thighs back. And walk your hands back towards your feet. Come to Uttanasana with your feet apart. Fold forward. Keep your quadriceps engaged. Lift the backs of the thighs up towards the ceiling. Place your hands on your hips, elbows to the ceiling. Inhale, come all the way up. All right. So, if you have a block, go get it. If you have a strap, go get it. You can't see this. There you go. Need to move the camera back a little bit. So, many of you remember this. I did this yesterday and realized how long it had been since I've done it. So I'm going to stand on my left foot, or your left foot. You're going to stand on your left foot. And you're going to bring your right foot to hover alongside it. And stay there. I'm going to move my camera back a little bit. So you want the feet to be just like they are in Tadasana, so that the hips would be level. And if the hips are level, chances are the feet are more or less level. And if that's not enough work, take your strap, take it wide. I think everyone has the strap. And then lift it up, and bring it back. So opening the shoulders at the same time as working the hips a little bit and working on balance. The distance between the arms with the strap has to do with the flexibility of your shoulders. So moving back and forth with the arms. All right, and now change legs.
So place your other foot on the block. And then look down and level your feet. Oops. So you can place the strap over your right shoulder for Gomukhasana arms. So first, level your legs. And then, you're going to take your left hand behind, bring it close to behind, between your shoulder blades. Lift your right arm up, turn your palm to face behind you, and reach for your opposite hand. If you can't grab it, you have the strap there. If you don't have a strap, you can still do it. I forgot to say, what do you do if you don't have any blocks? And that's just lift one leg up. So you're still doing a balance pose, but just not this balance pose. Change sides, so left arm up, right arm down, Gomukhasana arms, while balancing on a block. Your chest well lifted so your top arm isn't forcing your head down. And then release your arms from off the block. All right, so a sign that you're inside too much, actually I go outside a lot, but is you start doing stuff like this. So if you don't have two blocks, books will work as well. But we did this a little bit, or actually a lot, the other week, but if you can just watch for a second. So I think we did something like this, where we move the leg back and forth, and we'll do that for a little bit, but just so you don't have to get up and look at the camera again. You can try 2 bricks, and then just moving the feet in different positions. So, starting with the right leg, you can have the left foot on the floor. And if you only have one block, you can use one block and one book. Although things that are pretty much the same will work better. So with the right foot supporting the block, first get your balance, get your focus. And then you're going to bring the right foot toward your head. Then bend your right knee so that the knee comes down next to the armpit. Like a happy baby. And then straighten the right leg. Now switch legs. Place the right foot on the floor, lift the left leg up. First, find the balance. And then, once you found the balance, bring that leg toward you. Then slowly bend your left leg. So it's in dead bug, or whatever you would want to call this pose. Then straighten the leg again. So then you can try the same with 2 blocks, or 2 books, or 2 Kleenex boxes also work. Alright. But now, rather than a single point of focus, you have to have 2 points of focus. So you bring both legs toward you, maybe both legs away from you. You have to change where your ankle is. Keep the block level. Alright. And now bend both knees at the same time. And then straighten both legs at the same time. Do that again. A little harder with 2 blocks. It's going better for me today than it was the other day. I'm dropping that block everywhere. And straighten back up. All right. Come back up. Isn't that fun? It's probably a little easier with a foam block than a wood block and so forth and so on. I did a lot of this too, balancing the block on my head and trying to get up from the floor. All right, so back to hamstrings. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can get into this. This is again Uttanasana, but if you don't have the props, then what you're gonna do, actually we can all start this way, is you're gonna bend down and grab your feet. So your knees are bent, and then you grab your feet like this. And then hold onto your feet and keep your chest as close to your thighs as possible as you straighten your legs. And then bend your knees again. Get a good grip on your feet. You can just stand on your hands if you want. And then lift a bit of belly side. Keep the chest close to the thighs. It will eventually move away. So pull yourself in. All right, inhale, come up. So you can either repeat that, or you can use a strap too. So you can have the strap under your feet, hold on to the strap, pull yourself in. But that won't work for all of you because many of you are very flexible. So then you have to stand on some bricks, bend down, grab the strap, and straighten your legs. So try that again. So either without a strap or with a strap, with bricks, without bricks, bend your knees. Bring your chest in towards your thighs. And then as you straighten your legs, keep your chest as close to contact with your thighs as possible. Also, because I was just looking at the camera and I saw myself, don't lean back. So there's weight on your toes. Put your hands on your hips, come up. All right, so let's make that slightly different. And now you can either use a blanket or some blocks. So you can either have your feet at an angle like this, or the more simple one would just be to put your feet on the blanket and fold forward. So now the top of your foot is raised. The stronger the angle, so the blocks would be a stronger angle, the more intense it is on your calves. So if this is too intense for your calves, then maybe just a single blanket if it's not enough.
roll the blanket up. You don't have to balance on blocks. I like the feeling of something solid, so I was using blocks. Lean back again. All right. Come off the blocks if you're on blocks, and then stand all the way up. Bring again, don't worry about the blocks, I'm just showing with blocks. You're gonna put the blocks at the short edge side of your mat. Step your right foot forward, your left foot back, about 3.5 feet apart. Line up your right inner heel with your left inner heel. Turn your hips to face the front of the mat. And then fold forward, keep both legs straight, and bring your hands down. Parsvottanasana. All right. So in Parsvottanasana, with or without blocks, bring your hands as far forward as they'll go. So the torso extends forward as the hips push back. Now, unlike class, where I can adjust your hips, you have to figure out if your hips are level. So take both hips back, and that will help. Because chances are which one is it? Mine does the opposite, so I have to think. I'm guessing it's the back hip goes down. For some reason, it's escaping me. Anyway, so as you press your hips back, you should feel one lift up. That's the one that was down. Walk your hands back in. Inhale. Place your hands on your hips, come up. Change your feet. Left leg forward, right leg back. Line up your inner heels. Turn your hips to face the front of the mat. Keeping both legs straight, fold forward. Bring your hands down. Take a breath here so you can move your hips back. And walk your hands forward with or without blocks. And extend your torso forward as your hips move away from your hands. If you can get a little extra length after you've been here a few breaths. And walk your hands back in. Place your hands on your hips. Come all the way back up to Tadasana. All right. Now we'll do this one first. All right, take your feet wide. So, Prasarno Tadasana. All right, so if there's two of you, you have to make sure you don't bonk heads. Roll your shoulders back. Fold forward. Bring your hands to the ground. Yeah, there we go. Extend your chest forward as you press your thighs back. All right. So first, especially if this pose is hard for you, this is helpful. Extend your arms as far forward as you did just a few moments ago. So you're more in a wide-legged downward dog. Then release your head down towards the floor. And see if, like, by going forward a little bit, you can get your head down. Or it goes down a little more than it normally would. Then keep it down and walk your hands back until your hands, your wrists are in line with your ankles. And your elbows make a 90-degree angle between your upper arm and lower arm. And this may not happen, and don't worry about it. But it's just another way of getting into the pose that helps some people get their head a little closer to the floor. So if you're really close, that will get your head down. Then walk your hands forward. Lift your chest. Okay. Place your hands on your hips. Come all the way up. All right. Now you're going to take your hands behind your back. And you can keep your legs long. You can either grab the opposite elbow, or the opposite wrist, or place your hands in Paschimottanasana, reverse prayer pose. All right. There we go. Press your hands towards each other. Lift your chest. I think everyone that I can see is in Paschimottanasana. Then with your next exhalation, come down halfway. Yep. And then with an exhalation after that, lower your head towards the floor. Let the backs of your legs up, quadriceps engaged, and your head may not reach the floor. Don't worry about it. That's where it's going. Keep your hands where they are. With your next exhalation, lift up halfway. Or actually, inhalation, sorry. And then lift all the way up. Make sure everything is the right shape it's supposed to be. Come up too fast, you might get a little lightheaded. All right, and then you're going to turn to the right for Paschimottanasana, the pose we did just a while ago, except our hands are on the floor. So the hands stay in Paschimottanasana, and you can actually just watch for a second because this is actually the way it says to do this pose in the book. So you go from Paschimottanasana, you turn the feet, pull out your stance, and then you turn the feet. And you come in, wah! You go into Paschimottanasana and lift up, and then we'll go back and do it on the other side. All right? So if you have a grip of your elbows rather than your hands in this pose, you're gonna change the grip of your elbows at this point, or your hands. All right, so press your feet strongly into the floor, keep the right big toe down, the left heel down. With your exhalation, fold forward over the front leg. So lift the backs of the thighs up to lower yourself down more. And then you're going to turn your feet, keep your head low, but turn your feet towards the wide side of the mat. And fold forward into Prasarabdha 2. Take a few breaths here. This is generally a shorter pose than that. Generally the legs are further apart than the last one. Then You're gonna turn your feet again, keeping your head low. It's a little bit of a balance challenge, especially for me. So you're folding over your left leg now, pushing down with the left big toe and the right heel. Inhale, lift up, take a breath. All right. Then exhale, fold over your left leg. Keep your legs strong. Turn your toes to face the wide side of the mat, so you're in for Sarvabhauttanasana 2. Keep your head down. Turn your toes to face the narrow side, the right, is it going to the right? Left. Right big toe, left heel. And then with your next inhalation, come up all the way to standing. Step your feet together. Very slowly release your hands and let them hang at your sides for a little bit. Resisting the temptation to shake out your wrist. All right, then the little wrist release. So you're going to take your index finger toward your wrist. And then you're going to take your middle finger and have it join your wrist. And see if that helps. So last week, Supa was asking about how to make the wrist do this. Well, that's one of the ways. All right, and then if you're still having problems, you're still feeling like some tension in your wrist, you take your thumb at the base of your wrist and hold with your opposite hand and turn it the other way. So it looks like that. And then do the same with the other one. So base of the wrist, or base of the wrist, not really base. And then turn it the other. And that may or may not help. All right. So we did all that. And now it's time to stand on your head. So figure out how you're going to stand on your head. All right. So if you're not standing on your head, then it's kind of different than what we normally do. But I'd like you to lift one leg up the wall, like this. All right? Or stand on your head, and if you're standing on your head, we're going to begin something I rarely teach, which is variations. So the variation we're going to work on is this one, lowering one leg down halfway to the floor. All right, so figure out what you're going to do. Start doing it. So you're staying on your head, or you're lifting one leg in the air. No matter what, you're going to be lifting one leg in the air. Maybe even two. All right. So find your balance on your head. Oh, one of the reasons I was practicing getting up and down with a block on my head, other than I have a block and I have time to do silly stuff like that, was it helps you know where the top of your head is, your headstand. Because that's where you want to balance, is where you can balance a block. All right, so whatever position you're in, be even. So if one leg is up, you probably want to change legs at this point. You're going to be even on your bottom foot.
If you're in headstand, you're going to be even on your head, even on both your arms. All right, so keep your left leg where it is and lower the right leg halfway down. Keep the top of the right thigh pushing towards the ceiling as you lower that leg down. If you have one leg up the wall, you're going to move the top of the lifted leg towards the floor and the standing leg back. So here, the standing leg doesn't go back because that's too easy. It goes up. And then you're going to switch sides. So lift your right leg back up, regain your balance. Those doing standing, and switch sides again. Take a break because it's a little harder than this. Then keeping your right leg where it is, lower your left leg no more than halfway down. It doesn't have to go halfway down. And I'm wearing very dark clothes. I can't tell. I need better lighting. Anyway, so lift the top of your left thigh up or down, depending on where it is, and lift your heel towards the ceiling or press your heel into the floor. And then lift that leg back up. With your next exhalation, release yourself from all pain and suffering, and also to the floor. Rest with your head down. Inhale, come back up. All right, so today, well, actually, you can do this many times. So if you're doing L pose, where you decided, most of us like this method better. So where you measure the length of your legs, and you turn around, and you come into the half handstand. So if you're doing L pose, and everyone can start this way, you're going to lift one leg up and feel how extending that leg up takes some of the weight, now most of that's physics, off of your arms. All of that's physics. Some of it's, I guess some of it's psychological. So come into L pose. Yeah. And then lift one leg up. This is my voice. Or do something similar. You could also lift one leg up this way. And then lift the other leg up. If you're still up, good. Good job. But if not, maybe go up again and try it again. All right. Now come down. All right, so that's where we're going. The next place we're going, you know, this is a spectrum, so we have things that are harder than others. So if you do handstand, this is what you're going to do. You're going to come up into handstand, and then lower a leg halfway down. Or you're going to repeat L pose, lifting a leg back up. Or you're going to do Virabhadrasana 3, lifting one leg up. So find one of those and try it. If you're still working on kicking up, then that's what you're working on. But if that is no longer a challenge for you, then find something that's challenging for you. That's one of the main reasons we try harder and harder poses, and what I like to include You could also take it out to the side. Come on. Up you go. There we go. All right. When you're finished, rest. Wrist, Marcia. No good. Ah, there we go, Sopo. Yeah. You know, Marcia, anytime we do these, you can always do Pinchamayurasana instead. A lot of times it's not included because it's a lot more work on the shoulders, but you don't need you don't have that tightness in your shoulders that you have to worry about. All right. You're going to go into Chatuspadasana now. So we're going straight to shoulder stand after all that. No, almost straight into shoulder stand. You could go straight to shoulder stand. But lie on your back with your feet next to your hips. Notice how good it feels to lie on your back. It's really quite amazing. Especially when it's hot. All right. Grab the sides of your mat. Press your upper arms into the floor. Lift your hips halfway up. Roll your shoulders under. Lift your hips higher. You can interlock your hands or you can continue to grab the sides of the mat. Press down with the big toe of both feet to keep your knees level. It's very important in this pose and in shoulder stand, keep your jaw and your neck soft. You start tensing your jaw and your neck, you will hate shoulder stand. And then lower your hips down. All right, so we have some options. Option one is to repeat that pose with a brick or two. You only need one brick, but I like this kind of weird, it's a V shape along the back. Let's see if I can describe where it is. Your pelvis, along the V shape of the back of your pelvis. So lift your legs up and you lower one of them down. All right, so this is option one. The other option, and that's what I'm going to do in a minute after set up, is shoulder stand, one-legged variation. Okay, so I'll show that. Although that was kind of more fun for me. So pick one of those. If you don't have blocks or any kind of support like that, you can do it without blocks. But boy, is it a lot of work. All right. So if you do it without any blocks, take some breaks. So I'm setting up for shoulder stand. You set up for whatever you want to do. Lie on the couch. Eat lunch early. Watch other people do the job, do the yoga. I remember when the Rodney E videos came out, a lot of people just watched him do it. All right, so this is what Ekapada Salamas Argatana looks like. Turn my arms under well so that I'm on the top of my shoulders. And come up into Sarvagasana. And then lower one leg halfway down to the floor. And possibly further. All right? That's the pose. Pick what you're going to do. In whatever variation you choose, you want to get as close to the top of your shoulders as possible. So first, just be in two-legged. So either if you're in chatouche, or sometimes called bridge, both feet on the floor to begin with, or both feet up to begin with, but either way, both feet in the same spot. So the other day I was doing I think it was John Schumacher, I can't remember who it was, class, and he said, Sargasana is one of the few poses where you let your abdomen go. I go, sure do. Anyway, it was funny for me. I was sitting there staring at my abdomen, staring back down at me. All right. So keep your left leg where it is, and you're going to bring your right leg down. So if you're in bridge pose, you can bring your right leg down towards the floor. Actually, everyone's bringing it down towards the floor, but it's just going in a different direction. It's going away from you rather than towards you. If you're in shoulder stand, keep the hips level by lifting the outer right hip and sucking the left hip in. And then if you can keep that and keep your left leg level, you can bring your right leg down further and further. Then you lift your right leg up. Readjust your hands on your back. With your next exhalation, lower your left leg down. Lift the outer left hip up, squeeze the right hip in. So if you're lowering your left leg down in chatouche, you don't need to lift that outer hip up. It won't do anything. That's the side that you need to squeeze in. That's why it was kind of the opposite instructions. Even though you're lowering it down into the top of the thigh stretch rather than into the back of the leg stretch. And lift that leg back up. Readjust. All right, one more time. Keep your left leg where it is, lower your right leg down. See how close to the floor you can bring that right leg? Maybe it'll touch, maybe it won't. Keep the right leg straight, keep the left leg straight. Then lift it back up. Keep both legs straight as you lower the left leg to the floor. Maybe it'll touch, maybe it won't. A lot of it depends if you're doing shoulder stand or bridge. It depends on the height under your shoulders or your hips. And lift the left leg back. Reestablish your even pose, and then slowly come up. If you were in shoulder stand, slide yourself towards your head side so that your shoulders are on the floor and your hips are supported. If you are in bridge, slowly lower your hips towards the floor. You can take a break about halfway down and have a low block, although it's probably too late now to say that. And then your knees in towards your chest, roll to your side. All right. Sit in Dandasana. Reach underneath your right leg, roll your right thigh out, bring your right heel to its own variety, your left leg forward for Janu Shirshasana. So press your left thigh into the ground, lift your chest up, and then walk your hands forward. You can take your right hand and grab the outside of your left foot. If you can't reach the outside of your left foot, grab the outside of your left leg. Turn your torso to the left so that your sternum lines up with your knee. Then keep that. One hand either side of your leg. Lift your chest. Then with your exhalation, fold over your left leg. Now, if you have, this is for the extra flexible. If you have a lot of arm left over, you're not doing anything with it, you're gonna use your left hand and grab your right wrist and place it on the other side of your foot. Pull. Inhale, come back up. You can change legs. So from Dandasana, roll your left thigh out. Bring it in. Then take your left hand on the outside of your right leg. Turn your torso to the right. So your sternum lines up with your shin. And then one hand either side of the leg. With your exhalation, fold forward. And then if you have extra arm left over, grab your left wrist with your right arm, your right hand, and pull. Inhale, come back up. Take your legs wide for Upavista Konasana. Press your thighs down, lift your chest. And then slide your hands down your legs. You rest your forehead on dog. And as you slide your hands down your legs, see if you can encourage the legs to move further away from each other. Slide back in. All right, back to Dandasana. Okay, so I'm sure you remember at the beginning of class, I talked about the sit reach test. So let's see if we've made any progress in the sit reach test. Maybe we've made progress in other areas. So extend your arms as far forward as possible.
So you can kind of see where your hands are, you know, how far in relation to your toes they are. And if you want to pull yourself further in and you have excess arm, grab the wrist of the shorter side. So you know you have a shorter side, a tighter side. So grab that wrist. And then pull yourself in. You have more power this way than you do just holding the sides of your feet or the sides of your legs. Inhale, come back. All right. So hopefully there was some change. If not, I guess it didn't work. That's all right. Lie down on your back. A short shavasana. Roll your shoulders under in whatever shavasana position you choose. It's going to be relatively short. Press the weight of your body into the floor. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. And spend the next few moments focusing on your breath. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees in towards your chest. Support your head as you roll to your side. Roll a little further to your side and lift yourself back up to seated. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.